Hello everybody and welcome to the video. My name is Midway. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I sure am. And today we're going to be talking about PALS and the PALS system within the Legend of Mushroom, also with the hand of Aptoide. Sorry, more on that later. But yeah, PALS. There's a lot of PALS in the game. Which ones you should be using, right? For the most part, most people will just click on quick equip and that's gonna put you the best PALS, at least for the longest part of the game. But eventually we'll reach a point where you just have so many damn PALS. They are all of the same tier, like I am doing here with the red ones. Which one should I go for, right? So there's a lot of choices here, and you're gonna have to read what the PALs do, right? So there's gonna be better PALs and there's gonna be worse PALs, depending on situations, depending on what relics you are using as well, and what relics you have available, as well as what your class is. So let's kind of go through this for a little bit and just base it off of the red PALs, because PALs go from tiers ranging from the green, the gray, green, blue, blah blah blah, you know that, right? But there will be kinds of PALs which have the same effect. It's just gonna be a bigger or smaller effect depending on the tier, right? So a red PAL will have a bigger effect than an orange PAL, right? But if you look at it, right, we have the same PAL. It's just on the orange tier, they have a 20% active regen, skill regen, and then if you go to the red tier, it's a 25, right? So it's just the same, it's just that if it's a higher tier, it's gonna be better, right? So let's base it off of the red ones, right? Let's just go through them, right? So you will have PALs that will do many different types of stuff, right? Some of them you will benefit more from than others, and let's just go through them for a little while, right? So after using an active skill, detonate enemies dealing 200 damage. This one is just flat out good for everybody. I would be using this one if I could, right? After using an active skill, you will just do a bunch of damage to the enemy. 200% damage is quite a lot. However, of course, you need to obtain this one, but this one you just always benefit from, right? When you have ones like this one that are just flat out more damage, they're pretty good to go for, but it's a really offensive PAL, right? Would you go for something like that? Depends on the situation. You should have to make a choice for yourself. Active skill regen, as we talked about, really damn good. Active skills are the flat, actually maybe not the bulk of your damage, depending on your build, but for the most part, when you use an active skill, that's when you're gonna be doing the most damage, right? So having more of those is just gonna be doing a lot of damage. The Hydrospheres are just really damn good because of that. You just have more of the same skills that you already have, right? Then there will be other stuff like, for example, defensive choices like reducing enemy attack speed by 15%. Would you rather kill fast or be killed a little bit slower? It kind of depends. If you have no better choice, would you go for something like this? I would personally always try to go for more damage, especially if it's something like this, like lowering the enemy's attack speed. If it was something like defenses, like for example, you get out of one, like for example, I think it's it's this one, right? The deer gives you 15% damage resistance. That's flat out 15% less damage you take, right? So something like this, it's a pretty damn good choice. It's always going to be active, and it just really doesn't depend on how much damage the enemy does. I mean, of course, the reduction will be percentage based on the enemy, but I do believe this is just straight up better. Maybe not, depends on the situation as well, but yeah, it kind of, there's a little bit of a choice there, and I would personally go with how much less damage I can take instead of reducing the enemy's attack speed. I don't know, that's a bit of a weird situation now that I think about it a little bit more, but I would personally go with the deer, for example, there. Now, the cactus, for example, every 3 attacks deal a 40% extra damage, right? So just more damage. I would personally go for this one. I've been doing so for a while. 40% extra damage, I mean, it's just straight up just more damage every 3 attacks. It's depending on how fast you attack, you're going to be getting more or less of a benefit of this, right? So another consideration to take into account there. Basic attack damage increased by 30%. Do you have a lot of basic attack crit? Do you have a lot of basic attack increase, right? Of course, you will just have more basic attack damage depending on your gear. So do you have more crit? This is going to interact with that as well, right? So pretty damn good if you're doing a lot of basic attack damage like I am doing, for example, here with my archer. More PALs. Skill damage increased by 60%. Really damn cool. Really damn good. Do you have this one unlocked? Of course, go for it. You could also use a lower tier if you had access to it, but depends. Are your skills doing the bulk of your damage? Are you playing a class based on having more and more skills, like for example a healer? Then maybe you could go for this, or for example a spellcaster as well. Really damn strong PAL if you have access to it. Attack speed by 50%. Once again, depends. Are you a combo-based archer, really? The more attacks, the more you can combo, the more you benefit from everything else, right? So depending on your strength, you might really want to be focusing on basic attacks, maybe skill crit, or rather skills and skill crit damage, all of that stuff. So you might not always really want to increase your attack speed, because maybe that's not where the bulk of your damage is going to be coming from. It's going to be coming from your skills and their cooldowns. Now, the one that's flat out very good is just the HP regen from the Kung Fu Master. It's going to make your life a lot easier. If you're not lacking damage, which you kind of always are lacking damage really, but if you're just trying to go through the campaign, this one will just make your life a lot easier. But if you don't need the HP regen because you're surviving, I mean, you could also use another more offensive option, but that also, you know, plays into PvP, right? This is always going to be very good. You will need to not die in PvP a lot, right? So a very, very good option. Now, the snail one will be very good for boss scenarios where you are being killed, you don't have enough time before you are killed, and then slowing the time that the boss takes to get to you. If it's a melee boss, of course, if it's a ranged boss, it doesn't matter. Well, will actually help out a little bit. But besides those situations, the snail one really doesn't do much, right? Because if it's PvP, you're not moving, and if it's a ranged boss, they're not moving, right? So this doesn't even do anything. So take that into consideration. Don't just let it up to the quick equip button for things like this one. We already talked about the tier 1, damage resistance, pretty good. And then there's also going to be PALs that are only obtainable through events. For example, this one, which increases the combo by 10%, flat out, and then combo damage by 100%. Now, this is obviously very damn strong, and if you are playing a combo-based class like an archer, then you would really want this, right? The way you get this is by playing the limited time event, which I say play, but you really just need to be purchasing for a couple days some stuff, and you will eventually unlock it. I'm sure it will come back eventually, but if you're really trying to go for an archer which bases off of combo, really go for this one, of course. But yeah, there's some choices like those that are going to be depending on just what your class is, what you're lacking at the current time, what type of content you are playing, and then there's also going to be a lot more specific choices based on your class even. For example, like this one, increase counter damage by 60%. Are you playing a warrior based on counter? Choose this. Are you playing a mage? You stun a lot, and when you benefit a lot from stuns, play this. Are you playing an archer doing a lot of combo and combo damage? Play this, right? These are the legendary, or rather, yeah, the immortal tier PALs at this point. These are the ones that really matter. You really want to be getting to these ones. But yeah, at that point, your choices are kind of made for you. There's other ones that are a lot more generic, like PAL damage by 40%, increased base attack crit damage by 50%, and the skill crit rate, right? Just flat out good for everybody. Some might benefit more from them than others. When HP is below 50%, gain a shield equal to 30% of your max HP, right? So some of them are just good for everybody, but some of them will really cater to specific classes, right? So once you get to this point, the choices are a lot more meaningful. On the lower side of things, there will also be, for example, as we talked about, the sprites or the chickens, basic attack damage and all that, reduce enemy attack speed, right? So you will have all those recurring themes of the same type of the same type of PALs that give the same effects, like for example this one, crit bonus damage, really damn strong. But at that point, it's also going to depend. Do you want more defensiveness? Do you want more attack? Those are your choices, right? So really read through the effects. Don't bother too much with the level. The level also, once again, only affects the base effect, which increases the base attack damage and HP, so the level doesn't really matter. It's just about the effect that you are benefiting from. Once again, don't leave it up to the quick equip button, because you might be actually equipping some PALs that you are not really getting much benefit out of, or eventually sometimes even no benefit at all. For example, from the snail if you're PvPing and such and such and such, or also like raiding against the whale and doing other dungeons and stuff, right? So yeah, really those that's just a quick breakdown on how to think about equipping PALs. It's not really a tier list, and of course to get PALs you will just have to roll on that gacha and hope that you get them, or also just from the AFK rewards, right? So hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments any questions you might have about the system. If you want to be earning bonuses when playing the game like Legend of Mushroom and making any purchases, you want to be getting more value for your money, well, for example, you might as well just do so through Aptoide. And basically what's going to happen is this: once you try to make a purchase, you're going to be prompted to do so through the AppCoins wallet. You will have a guide on how to install all of that down in the description, and once you go ahead and just try to make this purchase, you will be getting a bonus that goes from 10% up to 35% based on whatever you spent. And also if you use my code on the Upcoins wallet, and that bonus will just be then able to be used to make those purchases without spending any real money, just based on the bonuses you earned. You can use that bonus to make the purchase for you. So you're basically making a rather getting a discount on the purchases that then you can use further down the line to make more purchases without actually spending the money. You're just getting more value for the same amount of money you were already spending, right? So pretty damn cool. I've been using this for a little while. It's really, really damn good. If you're going to be spending any money on The Legend of Mushroom or any other game on mobile game on Android or your PC on an emulator, then you can just go ahead and get the value from that stuff. It's really damn good, really damn simple, right? So let me know in the comments any questions you might have down below on the comment section. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye, see ya.